Not organized again. So hello everyone. I hope everybody's having a good night. And so today I will not be answering your guys' comments. It's video only mode for me. I want to start off with the fact that, you know, yesterday was a little interesting, and the day before with the riots, the protests, protest turned riots, I guess, and it was a little stressful to watch a lot of the footage. I try to stay away from like most negativity. It's a little annoying, but you know, but I don't like to call liberals or Democrats libtards, crybabies, or snowflakes. If I call them snowflakes, then it's an insult to me, and I think snowflakes are fantastic. You know, they can't make everything an insult. And today it's just more like on the lines of talking about my personal politics and my blog, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping to make it a news media website eventually, thanks to the help of Josh White, Michael Nikiforakis, Ian McDonald, and Rich Duncan. They all four have written amazing articles, fantastic pieces of work. We got Josh White with his Trump's executive orders. He also wrote another one, and he's working on another one about Iran and that deal as well. Michael wrote one on Trump's immigration policy and like more on the facts about that. And Ian McDonald worked on the boycott or not to boycott, which, you know, it's a big opinion. And Rich Duncan wrote one, because I requested that he did, on abortion from a libertarian's point of view, and it was absolutely amazing. These writers are fantastic. I am so excited to have them on the team. And I have other people on the team, they just haven't written yet. Alyssa, you're one of them. And Ryan, you're also one of them. If you guys are watching, go, write, get it done. And the other ones, they said they don't always have time, and that's fine. I'd love to hear their pieces. A lot of them are some have liberal points of view, and I think it helps with the conclusiveness. I think our team is amazing. We're all understanding with each other, and I love that. I think joining us all together and showing that we can understand each other and come to a great compromise is exactly how we're going to help fix this country and the dividedness that it's been, and help us join together in a way that we can all respect each other. And a lot of the times respect is earned, but sometimes it's just easier to give it, you know? You get, like, you know, that big saying where people talk about you get farther with a horse with a cube of sugar than you do with a grain of salt. And, you know, I'm guilty of it. I've made fun of people, but it's mostly, for me, whenever I make fun of liberals or anything like that, it's mostly the specific case or the specific group that is doing something wrong, not all of liberals or anything, or along those lines. I have a lot of respect for the views, because for a long time, conservatives, Republicans, and not just that, but our government in general, for decades have ignored social issues, and like liberal points of view and democratic points of view and libertarian points of view add that to a great, they bring it up, you know, they're not afraid to talk about it, and they show us a side that we sometimes ignore. And I know it's not like, not all of us are trying to be callous by, you know, not accepting refugees. Not all of us are trying to be callous. It's because we want to save our own people. And when it comes to the vetting, I know that they have like a 6 to 18 month long process, but when it comes to vetting for them, they have different laws than we do. So since they have different laws, it doesn't prove that they didn't break our laws in their country. We have completely different laws, and they have to abide by our laws. And that's the only reason why I don't think vetting really works. I also wanted to do like the decriminalization versus legalization. I really like, I love the subject of marijuana. I love the subject of Mary Jane, you know. I am a firm advocate for decriminalization for all drugs, because why don't we help them with their addictions rather than putting them in jail, which doesn't help them. It's easier to get drugs in jail than it is on the streets sometimes. And as far as all the research I've done, like, weed has done absolutely nothing to hurt anyone, where alcohol has hurt so many people, but alcohol is legal and marijuana is not. It also helps people with like ADHD and ADD, all like Alzheimer's, cancer, cancer help, pain. It's just a great all around drug, and I mean, I think that's why the government got rid of it, is because it was so useful. And it's just been an off week for protests and things like that. I don't think a lot of people have gotten the recognition that they felt like they should. And it kind of sucks for Milo, having to be taken away from his talk, what he was invited to, because of protests. Well, not really because of the protests, because the rioters took over the protest. There was burning, like, I don't even know what they were burning. And, like, there was a power pole, like, falling. It was crazy. I just feel like if it was the 60s, you know, they'd all be smoking weed. It'd be peaceful. So it all kind of joins together on that part. What else? I think it's time that, like, we all kind of stop, well, not kind of stop, we all stop, like, hating each other, calling each other names and everything like that. It's just disgusting. We are all Americans, and we are all citizens, and we all participate in the system as far as, like, I mean, we got our birth certificates, we joined together, and we really need to start seeing more positives in each other's points of view. I agree with a lot of people on different stances, and I understand where their fears come from. And I think it takes a lot of compassion for people to, or maybe open-mindedness, I don't know, for people to be able to step out of themselves and see it from another person's perspective. And that's extremely important in politics. I love politics, if it's obviously. I started in politics 9/11. I was 8, getting ready for school in the morning, and my grandma even spoke of, like, potentially not keeping me home from school. And I watched the entire thing. I gathered money from my school to go help them. I even gathered all my pennies and any change that I had, and, like, donated it to the cause and to help all the families who were affected. And ever since then, I've been involved in politics. I wrote, and that's why the blog even started, is because my writing's gotten me everywhere that I've ever wanted to go. I wrote an essay. It was for a competition, and I won tickets to I don't even remember what this essay was about, honestly, but I won tickets to the Nutcracker in Tucson, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And then I wrote an essay about 9/11 for the Veterans Association here in Tucson. I didn't win per se, but I got second place, but it was my essay that got put into the yearbook, and that essay was the reason why I was invited to go to the National Youth Leaderships Conference in DC, where I practiced we did a mock Congress, we spoke about politics, we joined together. I met so many different people, so many people who were supportive of Obama. This is 2007, and so supportive of Obama, and then those that were in favor of McCain, and it was just a worthwhile experience. And I don't think without writing I would have gotten anywhere, and that's why I started the blog in the beginning, is because writing is the greatest way to start an opportunity for almost anything. I mean, you write a resume, or a cover letter for every job you want, why not write about something you believe in and get the opportunities that will come to you? Um, there's so many interesting things that I could be talking about. This immigration policy that Trump's put in, he's talked about the wall. I haven't read the entire thing just yet. I can only see it from my phone right now. I have been lazy and haven't gotten it on my laptop to read it. It'd be easier if I printed it out, which I might. If anybody wants copies, let me know. And I did think it was extremely saddening that Milo couldn't speak. I would be honored to see him here if he comes here. I doubt he would, because Tucson doesn't really exactly enjoy conservative views. For the most part, they're largely Democratic. And I think that seeing him would be a great experience. I would love it if Ben Shapiro came down, or maybe even Breitbart. But I prefer Ben Shapiro. I think he'd be really cool to see. He's very intelligent as far as everything that goes. I probably won't be following Megyn Kelly to NBC, that's for sure. Really, I really do side, even though I'm like registered Republican, I really do side a lot with the libertarian stance. And with the libertarian stance, for me, it's more that whole meme and the big joke where it was, we want to take over the whole entire country, we want to take over the world, and then leave you alone. I kind of agree with that. Take over the country, leave you guys alone. We all have our rights, and I feel like the government has more laws for us than we do for them. And it's just a little ridiculous. We need to kind of straighten that down. I think that's why Donald Trump felt like it was a huge issue, and to drain the swamp and everything. I think he's done a lot of great things. I mean, he's made minor mistakes. There's been small things that have affected a lot of people, and of course it's going to cause some kind of like ruckus. I think that's what he aims for, though. By the way, this is Silly Putty. I get nervous, and this kind of helps me not be nervous. My heart isn't racing, thank goodness. So really, it's just about figuring out where your points lie, where your point of views lie, and whether or not you can fight for them in a way that is productive rather than unproductive. And to me, writing has always done that. I am currently writing the article. I talked about it before. I'm writing an article thanks to John Carlson. I don't know if he's on there, but hi if he is. He got me in touch with a veteran that is 97 years old, and he was one of the paratroopers on D-Day, 507th paratrooper on D-Day, John Hitchcliffe, and I'm very excited to be starting to interview him. I still have to call his son-in-law to see if we can set that up. And then I also have, I feel like that show that from from Dude, Where's My Car, where it's like, and then it was really funny. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's funny. So I'm also writing one on FEMA, and I got to follow the budget and follow where they are. Apparently there's been a lot where it was during the Obama administration, where they were buying all of the freeze-dried food, all of them, literally taking everything off the market from different companies. And these are companies that make food for our military and, people and prepare us for the apocalypse if it were to ever happen, kind of thing. And FEMA's been buying them all. And I know that doesn't sound like a big issue because, things like Katrina, things like that. But then not only were they buying them like completely out of stock, they were also asking where they kept them in storage, which means, like government could come in, take it, and like confiscate it. It happens. They were also buying ammo, guns, you name it, things like that. And I just want to know what they were preparing for. What was the huge thing that they needed guns, all of the food, and other things like that. There's other things like Monsanto, that I'm a big fan of GMOs. I used to do biotechnology. I helped study the rice genome. I used to study the salmon. I did a whole entire LD50. I don't know if anybody knows what that means. But the LD50 is where half live and half die. I used pesticides and I diluted them to an extent with fruit flies and put it in their food. Yeah, it's a little creepy, but it was fun. Found out that you can dilute pesticides by about 75%, and that's pretty major. And it's just a lot of different things like that. I wanted to confront Monsanto and ask why they didn't implement it. I presented it to them when I did the study. I actually won the Arizona State Science Fair in high school, as well as my own school's science fair, which was awesome. Everything for me is more science-based than it is belief, religion, or everybody's political affiliation. Though without you guys commenting on and having your debates and everything, I would not have such a worldly point of view. And so I want to thank you guys for always being there and liking, doing angry faces, even just giving me your point of view. It's perfect. And if not for you guys, I don't think I'd ever learn anything else. You guys challenged me, and I could not appreciate it more. It's such a blessing to have you all. So now it's just question time. If you guys want to ask questions, I am here. And I won't be impatient this time. So feel free to ask your questions. I will stay on for the next 5 minutes and wait. Hi guys. Hi Izzy. Hi Ian. Hi. So it is Q&A time, guys. Comment. Joe, you have to rewrite it. I wasn't looking. I'll only answer questions at the end right now. Dude, this thing is awesome. While I'm waiting for you guys to write your questions again, you can put a big bubble in it and then go. Okay, that didn't work. It does it randomly. You want to know about dog training? I don't know what they need bullets for. That's my question. Talk about Berkeley College. Yeah. Oop. I'm messing it up. I don't know what they need bullets for, Michael. That's part of the whole entire thing. Is I want to research it. I want to see where the money goes. I want to see what they're paying for. What is going on? What was going on? I don't know if it's still going on. And dog training, I'll get to that at the end. I'll get all the politics out of the way first, so that way nobody has to listen to the dog training if they don't want to. Oh no, I'm writing comments. The thing with Berkeley College for me is I miss Reagan. I miss Reagan when it comes to that. I know that when there was huge riots in the college, I think it was Berkeley College actually. Huge riots when he was governor. He told the police to do whatever means necessary and get it done and make them stop because they were destroying property, college property, taxpayers' property, and he did. I mean, like I said, his kid died from it, and it was actually kind of useful. Sorry if we don't do something about it now with our police force, a vigilante, like one of us, maybe, I'm not going to, but somebody I know, or some people that are largely that conservative, are going to step in and take care of it if nobody else does. And that's going to lead to a civil war, and that's just not okay. Okay, so I'm bringing it to my face now. Can I switch it? No, it doesn't want to switch. So answer what I wrote. Berkeley. Iran and Trump. Actually, I was going to wait till Josh wrote his article. And, you know, I like to see perspectives first. I was going to read the entire words, man. I was going to read the entire thing about Iran's deal and everything like that. And then I was going to see what he's thought about it. And then hopefully see what other people think about it. I don't want to do open borders. That is, I mean, like, for me, I don't want the wall because I don't think it's useful. But I think surveillance, hire more border patrol, hire more people to take care of it. That's really what we need. We're not a country with no borders. We have borders. We have border patrol. We have everything. We just need to hire more border patrol. I think the wall, I will be that person. I never liked the wall. I still don't like the wall. Thoughts about various celebs talking about military coup to replace Trump. What? Celebrities, one, their opinions don't matter. Their point is to entertain us. Entertain the civilians. Their focus is not to be in politics. Their focus is to entertain us. That do your acting, read the script, and get over it. Unless they're being paid to give their political views because they have so many followers, but still, like, everybody should ignore them. That's all they want is publicity. Just ignore them. And nobody should play, if they're going to replace, okay, they do something to Trump, they have Pence. If they do something to Pence, they have Ryan. Nobody's going to be happy. I mean, we'll be unhappy that people died, and then people will be, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Nobody should replace Trump. Yeah, and the protests in 65 were for freedom of speech. In 67, when they were actually, like, it was something about the water. I don't even remember. All I know is that he put them in their place. He shut them up, and he's like, you guys, this is not a negotiation. It all started when you guys, who know better and are old enough to know better, let people know, let young people think that they can choose which laws they are going to abide in the name of social protest. That Reagan quotes, I don't know if Reagan was the greatest president, but his quotes, everything about him, fantastic. I mean, what's the point of martial law at this point? I mean, it could be martial law, but I thought the only reason why I thought martial law would even be in place is that I thought President Obama would do it. And I think that the protests didn't get far enough while Obama was in presidency for him to declare martial law. That was my only worry about martial law. I don't think it's going to happen. I think majority of what is going to happen is if the police don't stop it, nobody intervenes, then we the people are going to intervene. People who don't agree and want to step in are going to. And it's going to be a riot. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be people against people. Americans against Americans. We do not need a civil war. That's all I could say. So let the cops handle it at that point. Sarah Silversman. She is a wonderful poet. I used to read her when I was a kid. She needs to shush. Shush. Just shush. You authors, you guys don't have a point of view. You guys are meant to entertain us. You guys didn't get into politics. You guys didn't go into the news media to get your books with important topics. You guys didn't focus on the important topics. You guys focused on poetry. Shush. Yeah, it could keep freaks out of your yard, but people jump over walls. Thank you, Izzy. There were peaceful protests at first. There were rioters that came in and screwed the whole night up. Okay. Dang it, guys. So many questions. Occupy Wall Street challenged banks and government. That was widespread. Black Lives Matter challenged the police of entire country. These protesters yelling, I can't read the whole comment, but it's there. Yeah, there's a huge issue with the respect for police officers, okay? They are trained to do their jobs. They are trained to distinguish different people. And I mean, like, they profile. That is their job. They're taught to profile. And they're taught to intervene when necessary. So that's part of the reason why I don't, like, support Black Lives Matter. I know it was only the few, but there was an entire march in New York of Black Lives Matter saying, what do we want? Dead cops. What do we need? Dead cops. You know, they have bad publicity. They need better publicity. End of story. Yeah, after Obama's Iran deal, Iran is testing ballistics. That's huge. Like I said, Josh White is going to be writing an article about that. To read it, share it. I beg you guys to share all of it. I post it every single time they make one. It posts automatically to Conservative Snowflake page, Katie Webb, everything. I share it every single time. So please like and share. Please comment. Please tell me your points of view, because it's going to be amazing. This entire blog is going to be a news media's website, and we're going to try. Right now it's opinion pieces, but for later on, as soon as you guys get it out there and help me get it out there, it will become a news media website of the truth. And we're going to try, like Josh White even pulled up the executive orders. Michael also pulled up the executive orders. They read through them. They did the research. Start of it. I love Milo. He might be vulgar and kind of a mean person sometimes, but I actually absolutely love Milo. I think he's fantastic. He's really funny, and I feel like they're argued with because of the way he says it. If he were nicer, it'd be a lot different. But he's kind of gotten famous based off his personality, his big booming personality of like who he is, and you know, he's always jumping. He's kind of moving back and forth all the time. People are interested in him, and he's funny. His views align a lot with mine, and one thing I love about him is that when Daniel Brewster was discriminating and telling kids who were in college that if they didn't have liberal points of view, or if they had conservative and libertarian points of view, if they had any views that weren't liberal, that he was going to give them an F. So they always had to write their essay, which is cool. I mean, I get it. It's great for us conservatives to write in a liberal's perspective, or try to see it from somebody's perspective. Same like liberals should write it from a conservative. That was the problem, though, is he wasn't asking liberals to see it from a conservative or libertarian perspective. They all had to be liberal perspectives, and that's just brainwashing. Like, not that I'm against liberalism like entirely, but it's brainwashing to try to get like it's discriminatory. It's brainwashing. It's not good. And I'm glad he's fighting for our rights, like in college. He's fighting for us. We can't speak against those professors when they have tenure. They have they have so much, like, what do you call it? They're joined in, you know. They've had a lot of time in that entire as far as colleges go. Some of them are on the school board. Nobody's gonna fire them because one or few students said, like, well, this guy said this. They're not gonna fire him. Now Milo can speak out against them. He can actually do it. And some of these kids were afraid to speak out against them because of the grade. These people are in charge of their entire future. They're in charge of whether or not they get an A. They're in charge of their 4.0. They're in charge of whether or not they can graduate. And that's the entire point of going to school, is so you can get that bachelor's degree, the associate's degree, the master's degree, and so on. It's wrong for teachers not to do anything like that. So that was, I think, the end. Nope, that was the thing. I dropped the phone. Oh, no. The only reason Civil War is so imminent is because you're Greta Freelers who... Question only. Do you think that these protesters... They have no objective. I don't think they're accomplishing anything except for making Milo more famous, which is fine. I mean, they put Milo's new book, which isn't even out yet, by the way. This is all a pre-orders. They put it back on the top 30 list on Amazon. Really, that's what they're doing. They're helping our cause. That's where I kind of come in, where I actually am concerned, because I know George Soros paid for all the ones against, like, Donald Trump and everything, all those big protests. People were getting paid $2,500 to go and protest. I mean, I would have protested Trump if I knew I was making that money. I don't even, like, I voted for him, but I was going to vote for him even when I was thinking about these things. But yeah, they have no objective. They just want to silence other people who don't agree with them. And that's where I have a problem with it. Yeah, they could get mad at his words or his vulgar personality, or, he says some raunchy things sometimes. He's hilarious, and people see him. And I think that's why Donald Trump's in office, is to stop the New World Order. I think he sees that there's a problem, and that, he bumps elbows with so many different politicians, that he knows what they're trying to do. He knows their intentions. He knows what they're stepping up to get to. He knows the goals they want for our country. And I'm sorry, but America's going to be in America. We are not going to globalize. It's just in a story. I mean, I hate to be I'm not very religious or Christian, but I do believe in that, the mark of the devil, where, our money was money. It was gold, and then it was cash, and then now it's not cash. It's in the form of a card. It's all digital, and then now it's a chip. And then what are they going to do next? Put chips in our body, and that's how much money we have? I love those movies, by the way, when they talk about different things like that. Let me see what else I got. They should retrain the police, but I think the retraining of the police, they are going after things that they shouldn't. There's a lot of different things that they can't, basically the only time that a police officer has any kind of discriminatory or, profiling is when they're pulling people over. And that kind of sucks. They don't really get to, decide a situation. If there's a domestic violence call, they have to put someone in jail. End of story. BLM is a terrorist group. Not BLM itself, but the people who go by the name of BLM. Like, the ones who destroy things or stuff like that. Thank you, Weston. Liberal who believes BLM is trash. I would be all for it. I get the being against police brutality. I just don't like the fact that they continue to use race as a name. The whole point for us to get rid of racism, is to stop calling yourself by your race. I look white as hell, especially with my blonde hair. I'm Cherokee. I was, my ancestors have been here for as long, before the America even started. But does that matter? No, I'm an American. We are Americans. Done. End of story. That's true. That the Supreme Court pick was Obama's pick. But Dems are like, no, we can't have anything that Trump wants. Anything. We gotta disregard anything that the Republicans do. It doesn't matter. We're just gonna disregard them because they're Republicans. Nobody cares. We do. Yes, government controlled the curriculum, and that's wrong. Teachers should control the curriculum. Teachers are taught to teach. They are taught to do this, and they're not. They shouldn't. I don't even know what's going. I've never gone to college for teaching or anything, but I actually wonder what they're teaching teachers in college and what they are preparing them for. Are they teaching them to follow a curriculum? Because they should be teaching them to make a curriculum. They should be teaching them to. The teachers see the audience. It's like when you're writing, your audience. I mean, I might write about something that's more my perspective and I won't have a greater audience, but that's the whole point, is that we need to have, they choose off their audience. So if you teach 15-year-olds, you want to have a curriculum that allows for 15-year-olds to flourish and learn. We also, if you're teaching kindergarten, you want to teach 5-year-olds things. You want to add more paint, more something that's going to teach them how to establish things. And not to mention, math is pointless unless you're baking. I'm a baker. All the fractions that I learned in algebra, thank goodness, I would not be able to bake cookies without it, I don't think. Or anything else for that matter. But really, a lot of the things they teach are pointless unless you want to go into, like, astronomical physics or engineering or, something crazy that I would never be able to do. The most I can do, and I understand chemistry pretty well, is biotechnology. I can genetically modify E. coli and make it glow with, I genetically modify it with jellyfish genes. And I make them glow with the black light. It's really pretty. I'll send pictures if you guys want to see them. Ah! Got phone insurance. Where did I go? Did I screw this up? Yeah, but they don't do critical thinking. I don't remember ever having any critical thinking in high school. I was taught how to make essays, write essays. I can write essays like this. Boom, done. It's super easy. I used to have to write an essay every morning, a 5-paragraph one. You'd have like 5, how you have to have 5 sentences in each paragraph. You're a woke liberal, that's for sure, Weston. Is there anything? Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, is that liberals wouldn't hate so much if it wasn't for the media. That is very true, and I hate to be like Kellyanne Conway and blaming the media and being that person, but, like, it's kind of true. Everything that the media, CNN, they all taught you to, CNN, Huffington Post, New York Times, they all put on this huge thing that, like, Trump is a hugely bad guy. But yet, ignored the fact that Hillary did what she did. And we're not even going to talk about it. Because the election's over. We got President Trump. And I may not always agree with him. I voted for him. I took Marco Rubio's stance on that part. And bowed my head. Voted for Donald Trump the way he did. But I think that Donald Trump is looking for guidance. I feel like he asks a lot of people. He's definitely really bad at public speaking. Which movie? I don't remember that. Miracle Whip still sucks. I said we should boycott that. I am a mad scientist secretly. Peace. That's what they're teaching you guys, Michael? Like, really? Teaching teachers to teach critical thinking, but in, like, only if it's critical and criticizing conservatives. I would be a classical Democrat if it was the way it was before, if it wasn't so liberal. I absolutely love interacting with my liberal friends, actually. Even when we don't agree on everything, I feel like we find a stance where, like, we might not... The thing is, we all have the same goals. I don't think people realize that. We all have the same goals. And, I mean, I guess some of them are different. They want to take care of the refugees, but it's not like we don't want to take care of the refugees. We just don't want to take care of them here. And the media is supposed to be neutral. And like I said, right now the blog is definitely opinion pieces. We're all kind of like stating our opinions. I'm really hoping Daniel and what was the other person? There's Daniel and then another one that I'm really hoping that they write their pieces and their liberal points of view, because that would be amazing. I feel like our group is well diverse, and I think it'll help unify us to show that, like, there's just, even though it's a little group of us, that it's you can see each other's points of view. We can always join in and, like, separate. But I love interacting with the liberal friends. they always bring a different point of me. I mean, the only one I dislike, and that's because he's always hating on me. No offense, Uncle. I love you to death. Uncle Byron. He's my favorite uncle. He used to be my jungle gym when I was a kid. And he's kind of a butt. You're kind of a butt. And he's mean to me sometimes. Which is understandable with the Republican point of view. But I always try my best to be open-minded. I try my best to understand somebody else's point of view, ask questions, and, you know, sometimes I let you guys just argue and get it out. I'm like, oh, well, I'm staying out of this one. It's getting a little too much for me. And what was the other question? There was another one. And yes, the glowing ecology. I'll get to that as well as I'll get to the dog training one as well. Miracle Whip. You know, Ian wrote about boycott or not to boycott. I think we should boycott Miracle Whip, and we should ban Miracle Whip because it is bad. I mean, it has these black things in it. It's awful, awful. I'm a mayonnaise person. You guys have so many questions. Music tastes, probably alternative and punk. I absolutely love punk music. I'm a punk girl at heart. I remember I was hanging out with Dean, JT Rivers. They were bomb. I don't think Dean has a band anymore, but JT Rivers, I think he's gone solo. JT is like the new, like, sorry. He's just a phenomenal guitarist. And I just remember Dean was always so jumpy and fun. They had a ska punk band. I loved it. It was always fun to join in with them. Raven's not here because she is unfriended me, but Raven is a fantastic artist herself. I love joining in with them. They have, the punk atmosphere is just exactly what I love. I think that's where I kind of just dislike the government. Bye-bye, government. No government for me. I do like country as well. Where are all my questions? Margarine, I agree. It is like one molecule next to plastic. It's so gross. I love my Uncle Byron, but he's mean to me. He always... I don't even think he listens to me. Uncle, you don't even listen to me. Like, my point of view matters too, and I love your point of view, and I try to listen to it, but sometimes you're just like, But yes, I love ska punk. My favorite bands are Bayside and Census Fail. I haven't grown out of that. My biggest interest in politics started with 9/11. I wrote an essay about it, got it into the yearbook, and the Veterans Association invited me to their dinner. I got to meet a lot of veterans and everything. And they basically taught me a lot. And then, because of that, they nominated me to go to NYLC. I spoke about this earlier in the video. And it's National Youth Leadership Conference. And I got to go to DC on 4th of July. It was absolutely beautiful. We did a mock Congress. We wrote bills. We wrote amendments. I mean, we did votes. It was absolutely amazing. I remember I actually got in trouble because I talked out of turn, and I shouldn't have talked out of turn. And I had to do the soldier boy, you know, the soldier boy to hit it. No. Watch me. Watch me. Okay. And, I mean, it was really fun. It was, like, probably the best experience I ever had. Came back home. I had always been really interested in politics. I actually wanted to become a lawyer to become into politics. I lost track. Gabrielle Giffords got shot like across the street from me at the Safeway here in Tucson. It was up north. I was working at a veterinary hospital. It was heartbreaking. She got shot in the head and was brain dead, and I think she's doing better now. And it just hit me hard, and it got me out of politics for a long time. And then Marco Rubio came around, and politics just hit me again. I got back into it, and that's what brings me here. So, any more questions? I see LOLs and no's and funny things. Okay, because otherwise I'm going to talk about like my genetic engineering and dogs. We'll get to the dogs first since he asked first. I did vote for Rubio in the primaries. Okay, so dog training. It is possibly the best thing I've ever done in my life. I owned a successful business. When I was in high school, I showed dogs professionally. And because she's trying to wipe the smell on her face. She wants the smell on her face. She's trying to hide herself. That's why, Michael. She wants to hide herself. It's like natural hunting instincts. Soldier Boy. I did do the Soldier Boy. I had to do the Soldier Boy. It was part of the rules we made. I mean, it was during that time. It was, what was it, 2007? Dogs' lives matter. That is true. But yes, so dog training. I use positive reinforcement for the most part. People don't like or consider prong collars positive at all, but I usually use the ones with cloth. Makes people feel a little more comfortable, and it's very rare that I even have to use them. But for the most part, it's positive training using treats, kind of, like positive reinforcement, the way that you would parent almost, where if you like the behavior, you encourage the behavior. If you don't like the behavior, you ignore it or just discourage it. Rubbing their noses in pee doesn't work. If they pee in the house, don't rub their noses in it. They don't understand that. They think they're just in trouble for standing there. Yeah, and for, our dogs, we have 12. They all live in the house. They're inside dogs. They have their own entire room. They basically take over the living room at night. I have a dog in my room. He hangs out, and my daughter has her dog in her room. It's just really cool. I usually do I don't usually do obedience training as often, but I implement obedience training. Mainly what I do is I show them around, only 12, right? I show them around the ring. My biggest dream is to go to Eukanuba or the Westminster Dog Show. That should be really fun. They're like the major shows in like America, absolutely massive. The biggest problem with Westminster is that you have to put the dogs in a crate for viewing. It's not long. It's only for an hour. And she's staring at you because she wants you to protect her. You're her bro. Like, you're supposed to protect her while she's pooping. She's in a very vulnerable position. So she's staring at you, making sure that you're watching out for her. And that's, yeah. Dogs are like possibly my favorite thing. I guess dog training and everything is my favorite hobby. That was my hobby growing up, was dog training. I did a lot of writing. I always wrote poetry when I was a kid. I have immense amount of poetry. I also, dog training. Science was my biggest thing. So, yeah, I think the dogs, I came from a very varied family, and without the dogs, I don't think I would have grown as much as I did. They taught me to be compassionate. They taught me to love everyone. I think that more people should be like their dogs, and that's important to me. I do. Dog, my little dog. I had my dog Sadie, and Sadie was my baby girl. I absolutely love that dog. She taught me how to train. She taught me to be patient. And then I had Callie, who was a rambunctious little puppy, but she was absolutely gorgeous, really fun. I got her championship almost on my own with the help of my sister, if you're there. My sister Trinity. Her name's Trinity Webb. Or no, Northrup now. She's been married. And she helped me. She did Callie's first major. So she helped me with that. You must protect your dog. That's good. Usually I use a leash. before I use a leash and then use treats. I stand in front of them as when they're sitting, and I back up, and then I say, come here, bud, or like Sadie, come, and be really excited, backing up, running back, and they are super excited, and then give them a treat as soon as they come to you, and do it often. Do it as like 5, 10, 20 times a day, and 5 minutes intervals of doing this, and it'll be effective, because later on that as later on you can put them farther away and everything, they'll start coming to you. Okay. Yeah, I answered that question, Michael. Did you miss it? Is that okay? So my genetically modifying things, is that what's the next subject? Okay, so you get a petri dish. Thank you, Rich. Yay. So you get a petri dish. You have your agar. You have to mix the agar with the water and the different things. It's a chemical compound, and it helps bacteria grow. And so you do that. You get the E. coli bacteria and you rub it on there. Actually, yeah. And then so you grow the bacteria. You want a lot of it. And then you take that bacteria and you put it in a little dropper. And it's like a little dropper thing. And you freeze it. You put it in the cold. You leave it in the cold, and it breaks it apart. So you put holes inside the E. coli. There will be like little holes in it. And you take the little the dropper thing, and you take the other DNA that's already been frozen, and you stick it in there. You have to mix it. There's more to it than that. And you mix it all together, and then you warm it back up again, and then you do another petri dish with the different E. coli. I'll post pictures. I'll be posting pictures on the thread of the E. coli glowing, and it was amazing. I also, when I was working on the rice genome, it was, different DNAs and things like that. I would love 2 conservatives and 2 a liberal hangout. That would be fantastic. Weston, we should do that. I am sadly in Tucson, so Bailey's is a little far away from me, but that should happen. It would be really fun. I think that's about it for all the questions. Unless somebody else has more, I'll stay on for like 3 more seconds. Maybe I'll do 10 more seconds because I was impatient last time and I just was like, bye. So 10 more seconds. Polymerase chain. I don't even know what that is, Michael. Polymerase chain reaction. Should I know what that is? I should probably know what that is. I'm gonna go look it up. I probably do know what it is. I am so, like, the verbiage and the technical words, those are the things I forget. I just remember the process and how to do it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What political point of view? That is a wonderful question. I'm not sure. My biggest thing in politics is to be kind and enjoy each other's company and enjoy the fact that people have differential point of views. Enjoy that people are different from you, because that's the greatness of America. Without that, without all of us having, it's a melting pot of different ideas. And I think that's fantastic. And that's where I want to leave off. I'll continue asking you guys always to be nice. Unity, exactly. Always asking you guys to be kind and accepting of each other's points of views. Ask questions. Enjoy the debates. Try not to get heated. If you guys are getting heated, take a break from it. Come back to it. I can understand some subjects make people upset. I have a few of them, like abortion. That's a huge one for me. And really I just ask that everybody be nice. But that's all. And exactly, true unity. We, in a divided country right now, we need to unite. We need to be together, because that's really the end of it. Without being together, we wouldn't have anything. But good night, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. And once again, read the blog, share the blog. Please, I'm asking you guys all for that help. It means a lot to me. These writers are fantastic. They write beautifully, and they're worth reading, I promise. I wouldn't have chosen them otherwise.